Hey guys, welcome back to this module of the free course that I'm doing on my YouTube channel to teach email marketing for e-commerce brands. The reason why I'm doing this is I run one of the best email marketing agencies for e-com brands, so I'm just putting out like better education really just to show people that I am truly the best and attract brands to work with me essentially. So in this module, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to build a high converting abandoned checkout sequence, not to be confused with your abandoned cart series, because the triggers inside of Klaviyo are actually two different things. I'm going to have a future module showing you how to build out the abandoned cart flow as well, but for now, we're going to stick to abandoned checkout. The thing that you have to understand about the abandoned checkout flow is this is a flow that you need to have because it's going to be the highest revenue producing flow out there. On Klaviyo, what's going to happen is you're probably going to see your welcome series be the highest performing flow. However, a lot of the revenue that's coming from your welcome series would happen anyways, right? There's a lot of over attribution. However, with the checkout flow, a lot of revenue is going to be converted from this flow. So do pay attention to this video because I'm going to show you how to set everything up in terms of how to structure the flow, the best practices around the content that goes into the flow, and I'm also going to show you exactly how to build the email within Klaviyo itself, simply because there's going to be dynamic segments and that's going to be a little bit hard to configure. So I'm just going to jump into a screen share and I'll show you what's up. First things first, obviously we're going to need the email content itself, right? So as you can see, this is an example of an email that we did for a brand called Ivy Bear selling hair vitamins, right? And essentially, when it comes to the actual content of the abandoned checkout series, you really want to have two main components. Email 1 and 2, generally speaking, is more so of a reminder-based email in terms of just saying, hey, you should complete your order. We noticed you didn't quite complete your checkout. We've saved these items for you, etc., etc. Now, the third email, where you can introduce some more intricate factors into it, like urgency and scarcity. Urgency through things like countdown timers, scarcity through things like, hey, your cart is going to expire soon, or like this item is selling fast, etc. You can also introduce discounts. So in this example, the reason why I didn't do email 1 and focused on email 2 and 3 of the sequence is because, as you can see, we use discount code to incentivize people into buying, right? So let me show you the structure of this flow, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to transfer this content into Klaviyo. So first things first, you're going to want to hit create a flow. So in the search bar, you're going to type in cart. The reason why I'm searching cart instead of checkout is because if I search checkout, nothing comes up. Klaviyo by default confuses abandoned cart and abandoned checkout quite a lot. So the thing that you got to make sure to look for is the abandoned checkout trigger. So you can see this is added to cart trigger. This is standard email and SMS. And at the top here, you can see the trigger is checkout started. This is the one that we want to go with, okay? So we're going to name this my agency name, and then we're going to name it abandoned checkout, okay? Boom. Now, obviously, because this is a demo account, I don't have my Shopify integrated, but normally this should be like 2 green checks, okay? So hit create a flow and it should load you into this template right here. Now you can see there's a SMS portion as well as an email portion. For the sake of this course, because I'm only teaching email marketing, I'm going to go ahead and remove the yes branch right here, delete yes path, boom. So now all I'm left with is the email section. Now, by default, the trigger is checkout started, completely fine. Placed order 0 times since starting this flow, has not been in flow in the last 7 days, completely fine. The only thing I would suggest you potentially looking into modifying is changing the 7 to maybe like closer to 10 or 14. But 7 days, if you want to be a bit more aggressive and you're doing like higher volumes, lower average order value type of sales, then 7 days is fine. But if your average order value is slightly higher, meaning the decision cycles are going to be slightly longer, you want to drag this out to maybe like 10, 14 days type of thing. I know brands that have it set to like 28 days because they fear that, you know, if we send the same exact emails to people within a 2-week time span, people are going to remember the content and get sick of it, unsubscribe, mark it as spam, etc. Truth is, it's just you have like a spotlight effect on your brand, but most consumers are not going to remember your ads whatsoever. So don't worry too much about that. Leave it on 7 days if you're doing, you know, slightly low average order values. increase it if you're doing high average order values. In terms of time delay, 4 hours is far too long. I like to keep this 1 to 2 hours maximum. So anywhere from an hour to like hour 30, hour 45, 2 hours is completely fine. 4 hours is a bit too long. Now, the second delay when it comes to this flow, and you'll notice this to be a common theme with the rest of the modules teaching abandoned series type of flows in this free course. It's basically, we want to configure this to be 1 day after the event happened, right? So essentially it's 24 hours minus whatever this delay is. So in this case, it's 23 hours. If this was a 2-hour delay, this would be a 22-hour delay. The reason why we want to do it like this is because people tend to use their devices around the same time every single day, right? So for example, if you set this to be a 4-hour delay and I'm like browsing the brand at like, I don't know, 7 p.m. 4 hours later, it's gonna be 11. By 11, I could already be asleep, right? Which is why we wanna hit people 1 day after with the second email. So we're gonna change this to 23 hours, boom. And now we're basically ready to upload the content itself. So in terms of the abandoned checkout sequences, there's something quite unique about this flow specifically in terms of people are checking out with different items, meaning they're gonna be putting different things into their cart, right? So how do we actually get their specific item to be served on the email content itself? And it's through dynamic segments. So what you're gonna wanna do is, you're gonna wanna obviously edit the subject, sender name, preview text, etc. But we're gonna skip all that stage because you already know how to do that. And we're gonna edit the template itself. So by default, the template should look something like this, where you have this dynamic block with like the image still needing to be populated, as well as the item, product, item name, as well as the quantity, price, etc. Now, obviously, this is not going to look very on brand in terms of the blue, in terms of the fonts, etc. So you're going to actually want to customize this, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the text side of this, and you're just going to change this to whatever format you want. So change the font, change the sizing to literally whatever you really want. Let's call this Korea, right? Increase the font size, play around with that, make it 32, keep it 24, doesn't really matter. The point is you configure the colors and you configure the fonts to be on brand with you guys. Once that is done, you could literally just save the link from here. So just keep this block for now, because remember in the welcome series tutorial, I showed you guys to delete all of the other blocks, but here it's really important you keep this for now. You can delete the top text block, that's completely fine as well. Delete this is fine as well. And now you're left with a pretty like plain email, right? Obviously you're gonna wanna add the footer links, etc., etc. And you're gonna wanna start uploading your designs itself. So in this case, you can see we have the top half with the checkout, the bottom half with a button. So we essentially need to upload this into 2 individual slices. So I'm gonna hit S and take out my slicing tool, and I'm gonna hit slice 1, boom. And then I'm gonna do another slice right here for the bottom of the email. So I'm just gonna slice it right here. Boom. So that's the 2 slices that we have essentially. So we're going to export one of the slices to be this one right here. So we have slice 9. We hit export, boom, slice 9, and then we have slice 10, which is this part right here, export. Okay, so once the slices have been exported, you're gonna then wanna add the image blocks over to your email, right? And as you can see, there's like a header box. So you're just gonna go ahead and delete that. Gonna delete the header bar, boom, drag content there. And we're gonna drop an image, and we're gonna upload slice number 9 right here. So once it's being uploaded, give it a second to upload, it should replace this existing creative, and now you have something like this, right? And then obviously we're gonna update the buttons as well and the alt text. So alt text is complete your checkout today for 20% off, something like that, right? And then we're gonna add the link address to be the same CTA link as here, which is event extra checkout URL. So this way it takes people directly back to their checkout so that they don't need to go to the product page again, add whatever they want to cart, and it's gonna be a whole process, right? So this way it sends them straight back to checkout. Now we wanna add the second slice, so we're just literally gonna go over here, take another image, upload image right here, and then we're gonna select slice number 10, boom. So slice number 10 has been uploaded. We're just gonna copy the link address again, click, so we're gonna add the alt text, which is click here to save 20% today, boom. Really simple. And now we can go ahead and delete this part itself. So obviously right now, if I were to hit preview and test, this looks really out of place, right? In terms of the block being configured like this. So how can we make it look better? Well, we're first of all going to start by choosing a correct font, right? So you can see for the headers, they use like a more bold type of font, so obviously not Courier. So we're just going to highlight this and try to find a relevant font. I think this one probably could do quite well. And then in terms of text color, we want to make it black, right? To match the brand color. So we're just going to hit this, select this color right here. And because it's a link, that's why it's highlighted in blue, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to table settings. And so right now, because it's a link, the color displayed is blue, but essentially we just want to make sure all of the fonts match, right? So DS Sans normal, you can see this looks a lot better. And then in terms of getting the background to match, you just want to go to table settings, scroll all the way down to background color, and then in the background color, you're going to want to select the same shade of pink as the rest of the email. So in this case, it's this one right here. And we're just going to use our eyedropper Chrome extension in order to figure out what the hex code for it is. So as you can see, it's starting to come a lot more together, but the reason why there's still a bit of padding on the left and the right, so we're just going to go ahead and eliminate that, eliminate that, eliminate that, oops, padding 0, boom. So now that all the padding is basically going to be eliminated, you can see it looks a lot better, right? Only thing that's really left to be changed is essentially just like this product title section right here. So we're gonna hit copy, apply, boom, and then we're just gonna add the link back in. There you go. So now you can see it doesn't look blue anymore, and the email as a whole suddenly looks a lot more together. And then obviously we're gonna change the background color of this to be the same pink as well, just to make it blend in real nice with the rest of the email. So we're just gonna grab the hex code again, exit out of this, and boom, done. So as you can see, if I were to hit preview and test now, the email looks a lot better, right? Obviously with the dynamic segment, it's going to be pulled in if this Shopify integration was actually completed. But this is essentially how you build out the abandoned checkout email for this flow. So now obviously configure the preview text, you can hit done, add emails 2 and 3, and you're good to go. Now with this flow specifically, I generally like to have anywhere from 2 to 3 emails if it's like a longer sales cycle. Now with this flow, I like to have anywhere between 2 to 4, sometimes 5 emails in terms of length. Reason being is because if you're selling really high average order value stuff, then generally speaking, people are gonna take a lot more time to actually decide whether or not they wanna purchase from you, right? In which case, that's when you'll want a longer flow to actually follow people through the entire customer journey. And in terms of content, email 1 and 2 should be a reminder. 3, 4, and 5, you can implement different types of urgency. So in this case, I showed you guys how to use a discount in order to incentivize people to order. However, you don't want that to really ever be email 1, right? So you can see in this brand specifically, if I were to zoom in on the Figma file, you can see this was actually designed to be email 2, right? The reason being is because a lot of people are going to convert on the first email even without a discount, which is why we don't want to show any discounts on email 1. So that's essentially how you build out a checkout flow in a nutshell. Obviously you can get more complicated when it comes to content, but if you want to actually see 250 email templates that my agency has done personally, feel free to sign up to my newsletter to get that email to you as like an opt-in bonus along with a ton more other resources, just to help you along in your journey essentially, and as a reward for opting into my mailing list. And if you're a brand watching this and you realize, oh my god, this is actually going to be a lot of work, you should book in a call with me. I'll take a look into your email systems and see if it's actually a good idea for us to take over, and I'll be able to give you very precise estimations on how much revenue we can do for your brand. I'll see you in the next module of this free course.